Welcome to lecture 5 of Python module, and in this video we will talk about Python function, the return statement in Python, Python library function and function arguments. So let's begin. So let's first see what is a function. So a function is a block of code that performs a specific task. So it divides a complex problem into a smaller chunk and make a problem or program easy to understand and reuse. There are two types of function in Python programming. One is a standard library function. So these are the built-in functions in Python that are available to use. And then we have user-defined function, which we create based on our requirement. So let's first see how to declare a function. So for that we use def. So def is a keyword to declare function. Then we write function name, parenthesis and colon. Now there are two optional things more which we can do in function. One to pass argument and one to use return statement. So what is argument? What is a return statement? What are their uses and example we will be seeing in this video later. So this is a function greet which will be printing hello learners. So when I will be running this code, you will see I have no output. Why? Because I haven't called this function. So to bring function into action, it's important to call a function. And how to do it? We do it by simply writing the name of function. But one thing to notice is that you will call your function after you have created. If I call greet function before defining it, it will throw us an error. Why? Because Python don't know what is greet when greet call is encountered. So this is one thing which you need to remember. Now let's understand how this particular code is working. So when a function is called, like this is the function which I have defined. So my code starts from here. So when the function is called, the control of program goes to the function definition. So my function or all the code inside the function are executed, and then the control of the program jumps to the next statement after the function call. So it will first call greet, which will be printing hello world, and then it will print outside function. So let's run this code. So this is the output which I will be getting. Now let's understand what are function arguments which we were talking about. An argument is a value that is accepted by a function, and if we create a function with arguments, we need to pass the corresponding value while calling them. So let's see example of argument. So here I'm defining function add number, and then I'm passing to argument num1 and num2. So first thing to remember, whenever you are calling function who has argument, you need to pass argument while calling them as well. So 5 will be mapped to num1 variable and 4 will be mapped to number 2 variable. So what I'm doing exactly in function, I'm adding these two numbers and storing it in the variable sum and then finally printing sum. So let's run this code. So I will be getting 4 plus 5, that is num1 plus num2, that is 9. So this is how argument work. Let's see another example. Here I'm defining a function greet per person which accepts an argument name. So what this function does, it print welcome name to data science course. Now I will be iterating over a sequence or list which has name like Shrishti, Manas, Shivam. So I is the variable which will be taking value of each list. So initially my I will be Shrishti, and then I'm calling the function greet per person for I. So what it will do, it will be printing welcome Shrishti to data science course. Now I value is changed to Manas, and then a function is called. So this will print me welcome Manas to data science course. Similarly, now I value is equal to Shivam, and then it is again called. So my function will print welcome Shivam to data science course. So let's run this code. So this is what I'm getting as an output. So now let's see the return statement in Python. A Python function may or may not return a value. If we want our function to return some value to a function call, we use the return statement. So let's see an example. Here we are defining a function find square and then passing an argument number to it. So we are multiplying number to itself and then storing its value in variable result and then finally returning it. So whenever I will be calling my function, it will return me the value of result, but this won't display as an output. Why? Because we are not using print statement. So I will be storing the value of function, which is returning me result, into another variable square, and then I'm finally printing the value of square. So let's run this code. So here I am getting the square of 3 because I passed 3 as an argument which is mapped to variable num. So it's returning me the 3 into 3 as a result. So one thing to note is that whenever you are using return statement, it also denotes that the function has ended. Any code after return is not executed. See an example. So what I will be doing, instead of writing return, I will be printing the value of result, and then I am using the term return, and then I will be printing inside my function end. So according to you, what it should return me the value of result, and then it should print end. But then when I'm calling my function for value 3, you will see that only result value is printed and not end. Why? Because the moment we have used return statement, our function has terminated. So any line of code after return won't be executed. Now let's see Python library function. Library functions are defined inside the module, and to use them, we must include the module inside a program. So there are defined functions inside module already. And to use them, we need to import module, and then we can call function inside them. So let's see an example of this. So here I'm using import keyword to import math module. Now I'm creating a variable square root, and this will be storing the value of function square root, which is inside module math. So this is how we will be accessing this function. So math dot square root, and inside parenthesis of function, I'm passing an argument 4 whose square root I want, and then finally printing its answer. I'm also using another function power, which is also inside math module, and passing argument 2, 3. Why? Because I want 2 raised to the power 3 answer, and then printing its answer as well. So let's print. So this is the answers I'm getting. So square root of 4 is 2, and 2 raised to the power 3 is 8. So as you can see how easy using predefined functions are. You just need to import module inside which they are declared, and then you can either use or call like this or like this, your wish. Now let's see the benefits of using function. Code readability. So function help us break our code into chunks to make a program readable and easy to understand. Code reusable. We can use the same code multiple times in a program, which makes our code reusable. So functions we will be using throughout our series. So it's very important to learn the function, how to declare it, how to use argument, return statement, what are its benefits. Now let's see different kind of arguments we can play around. So we can provide default values to function argument. We can use equals to operator to provide default value. For example, here I'm defining a function add number, and inside its argument a and b, I'm defining default values to a and b as 7 and 8. So what it will be doing with a and b, it will be adding them and storing its value inside variable sum, and then finally it's printing some value. So when I'm calling this function for different arguments, let's see this call. So here both values are passed during the function call, hence these values are used instead the default value. So here my answer will be 2 plus 3, that is 5. But in this situation, only one value is passed during the function call. So according to the positional argument, 2 is assigned to argument A, and the default value is used for parameter B. So A is equals to 2 and B is equals to 8. So this will be returning me 2 plus 8, which is 10. And in this function call, no value is passed during the function call. Hence the default value is used for both parameter A and B. See Python keyword argument. So arguments are assigned based on the name of argument. So in such scenarios, the position of argument does not matter. So here I have declared argument first name and last name. While calling function, I am using last name equals to Agarwal and first name as Shrishti. So it's not important to write them in the same order as declared in the function. Why? Because I'm using the argument name to define value. So when I'm running this code, I'm getting this as an output. Now let's see arbitrary arguments. So sometimes we don't know in advance the number of arguments that will be passed into a function. To handle this kind of situation, we use arbitrary arguments in Python. Arbitrary arguments allow us to pass a very number of values during a function call. And for this, we use hashtag before the parameter name to denote this kind of argument. Let's see an example of this. So here I'm defining a function list numbers. So, and then passing in argument numbers, but I don't know how many arguments to pass. I will be using hashtag sign. Now I am running a loop using for. So num will be iterating over numbers and then printing each argument one by one. Now I'm calling a function list numbers with 1, 2, 3 as an argument. Since I'm passing multiple arguments together, numbers will be act as a sequence. So I can actually use for loop. So 1 will be assigned as num in first iteration. So 1 will be printed, then 2 and then 3. Similarly, when I will be calling this function as list number 4, 9. 4, 9 will act as an array. So for loop can iterate over that. So 4 will be printed and then 9 will be printed. So let's run this code and see the output. So 1, 2, 3 for first function call and 4, 9 for second function call. So that's all in this video. Let's revise what all we learned. So a function is a block of code that performs a specific task. We have standard library function like print and user-defined function which we define ourselves. How to declare function, use def keyword, write function name, parenthesis, then colon. You can also pass argument inside parenthesis if needed. Then after defining function, you can call your function to activate or bring it into action. Note that you can only call your function after you have defined it. We saw function arguments. So here we have created a function which accepts argument num1 and num2. We are simply calling function using these arguments and these are position dependent. So 5 will be mapped to num1 and 4 will be mapped to num2. So we saw two examples for it. We saw what is a return statement. So it returns the value to function and it also acts as a terminator of function. Then we saw library functions. So to use function inside module, it's important to import it and we can use it by using import keyword. And then you can either declare it like this or simply call function. So what are the benefits of using function? It makes our code reusable and it increases readability. We saw various kind of declaring arguments and calling it later. So we can have default values in argument where we use equals to sign. We have keyword argument or named argument where positions does not matter. Then we saw arbitrary argument where if we don't know how many arguments to pass, we use hashtag sign. So that's all in this video. Thank you so much for watching.